Hey, so today's topic is one that is pretty personal and pretty emotional and something that a lot of us struggle with. And that is emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating, stress not eating, because that's a thing too. So, just a little bit about my relationship with emotional eating. I didn't even know that's what I was doing for the longest time. It wasn't honestly until a few years ago that I really kind of put two and two together. So when I was 16, my mom passed away suddenly and my life was forever changed that day. And my weight took a dramatic incline from pretty much that day forward. And when I was a freshman in college, away from home, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would binge eat Oreos. And I'm talking the entire package of Oreos. Those bags of mini chocolate covered donuts, I would dip them in milk and eat pretty much the whole bag. If it was high calorie, sugary food, I wanted it all. And I lived across the street from a McDonald's. So they had these deals where it was a cheeseburger and small fry for $1 and double cheeseburger and medium fry for $2 and up, right? And so I ate that almost every single day. And the next thing you know, I found myself almost 200 pounds at 5'2", feeling absolutely awful, looking terrible on the outside, physically just like hating life on the inside. And I started my health journey the summer of my sophomore year of college, and there was no turning back. I learned so much about living a healthy lifestyle and about fitness and nutrition, and really nutrition on a deep level. And that's where my love of nutrition kind of came from. So when we talk about emotional eating, I get it, because I still kind of do it. I still kind of sometimes will be a secret eater and will buy junk food at the grocery store and eat it in my car and throw away the evidence. Or I'll eat whatever high calorie sugary foods we have in mass quantities until it makes myself sick at night when everybody else goes to bed. So I get it when it comes to emotional eating. So why do we do it? Well, there's lots and lots of reasons. And a lot of it really comes down to we really don't respect ourselves and we're not practicing self-care because we are stressed out and overwhelmed. And, as a baby, we learn food is comfort. We cry and we get a bottle of milk. So it's something that we've learned very early on. And then when we were a child, we were rewarded with sweet treats. So you got ice cream and suckers at the doctor. And so you kind of were rewarded in food form, and usually high calorie sweet treats as your rewards. And then, we sometimes feel pain and feel insecure and inadequate. So think about that breakup ice cream, isn't it something like you're allowed to eat a pint or gallon of ice cream if you got broken up with and your best friend brings it to you? Again, we're stressed out, we're tired, we're busy, we're overwhelmed. We just physically don't feel good inside and out, and we think that food's gonna make us feel better because it's comforting, because that's what we've learned. So when it comes to stress, it really is a lack of self-care, because there are so many things we can do to reduce our stress or to reduce how we react to our stress in life. And a lot of times as busy moms, we suck at self-care. We always put ourselves last. And I've been there, and I'm one of the biggest proponents of self-care. And sometimes I find myself like, hey, when was the last time you really focused on just you? So when we're in that stress mode, we have adrenaline working. We're in that flight or fight. And a long time ago, that was fantastic because we were probably being chased by a tiger or something, right? So our body gives us a surge of adrenaline so we can have energy to outrun the tiger. And then our body produces cortisol to kind of calm everything and get our nutrition back. So it's going to give us some energy. So we would crave that high sugary, high-fat foods because our body needed to replenish what it just lost. However, our body doesn't know we didn't really use that adrenaline. So we don't really need that cortisol to ask our body to return the favor. So it just kind of hangs out in our bloodstream and makes us hungry all day long. And then whatever we don't use as fuel, we store as fat. because our body's like, hey, you might need this again, so hold on to it, okay? And that's something that we just go over and over and over with, and it's so sad because our blood sugars get out of whack. We're eating for not nutrition, we just don't know what to choose, and we choose like the easy, high calorie, high sugar, like instant energy, right? So that's one thing we have against us. Another thing is when we're in that fight or flight mode, we don't have our rational brain working for us. We can't have creative thought. So we literally are like, oh my God, I'm in survival mode. Like, I have to have this. So we kind of, sometimes we're hangry. Like, we just like, we're so focused and we're like, you know what? Like, I just have to have this. Like, this will make me feel better. And then afterwards, when you've kind of calmed your system down and you start to think about it, you have that regret. 'Cause you're like, oh, there was a lot of other things that I could have done instead of eating that candy bar. So the first thing we have to do is kind of just be aware. Be aware of what our triggers are. Be aware when we're stressed out. And that's why having like a great support system that can notice like, hey, you're not yourself today. Is everything okay? And after that awareness, if we find ourselves in that situation, we need to find a way to remove ourselves from that situation and calm down. So some deep breaths to really relax our nervous system, get everything back to order, get our blood flowing in the right directions, and be able to use the creative side of our brain to think our way out of the situation. And that's also going to release some endorphins when we start to breathe and calm ourselves down. And then we have to redirect that behavior. So how do we redirect that behavior? We have to first kind of have some identifications of what those excuses are. So, you know, when you're in that, I need that candy bar and I need it right now and there's no other option, we also are going to give ourselves some lies, you know. So I need it because I'm tired, I'm stressed out, I'm overwhelmed, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm angry. Or I need it because I deserve it because I did X, Y, and Z, or because X, Y, and Z happened to me. Can't let it go to waste. It's sitting there. It's free. And a little bit won't hurt me. But do you have a habit of just having a little bit? Do you? Because I don't. I don't have a habit of just a little bit. I can't do the one bite to taste thing. I can't. It's either all or none for me. So we also have some emotions going on, right? So, it's easy to self-sabotage yourself when there's a lot going on in your head. And I'm going to probably do a second video. I know Julie talked about self-sabotage, but in kind of looking at some stuff, I found some really cool things about self-sabotage. So I think I'll probably do a second video on that because I think that that's probably, I know for myself, I'm my worst enemy. So it's probably something that you guys struggle with too. And then, we know self-sabotage really is just any action that gets in the way of our intent. And then we procrastinate a lot. So if we're avoiding something, we might do that destructive behavior because then it gets us out of that feeling. So we kind of self-medicate with it. And we do that a lot with food, but we also do it with drugs and alcohol, illegal and non-illegal drugs, spending money, retail therapy, right? So the big thing is knowing food is not therapy. You have to tell yourself that over and over. Food is not therapy. So what else is going on? So we got some serotonin going on. So serotonin is our happy chemical. And when we eat some sugar, we feel happy. And when we have natural high levels of serotonin, we don't crave the sugar because our body's not craving the happiness, right? So a lot of people think serotonin is made in the brain, which it is, but 90% of it is made in our tummies. It's in our gut. So having a healthy gut bacteria is important for that productivity. So you will find a lot of times people that are really healthy eaters are also very energetic and very enthusiastic. And new research is finding it's actually because they have very healthy gut bacteria, and healthy gut bacteria promotes more serotonin. So there's kind of a link there. I'll post an article about it. So okay, let's back to how we handle this. So we identify that we have an excuse. we also have to have a counterbalance to that excuse. So what we can do to overcome that excuse. So, you know, we'll have a list of all the things we've already used in the past of why we need to do what we know we shouldn't do. But we also have to have a list of distractions and things to do for it so that we don't have the binge, have the, you know, 1,000 calories plus session of Oreos or Doritos or something. And then we kind of get into excuses too. So nobody cares about your excuses. You literally make them up to justify your behavior, and it only affects you. That sucks. That's like self-sabotage, like tied up in a little bow there. So what can we do to kind of prevent some of this from happening in the forefront is fuel our body with healthy, whole, nutritious food. So if our body is getting everything it needs on a cellular level, it's not going to have junk food cravings. And remember that all of that processed food is designed in a lab to trick you, and it tastes good for a reason. Like, they know what they're doing. If we have to eat carbs, we need to make sure that they are fiber-filled carbs that are going to give us long-lasting energy, not the instant energy and then the crash. We need to manage our self-care through reducing stress and prioritize and organize our schedules because that's stressful, and communicate what we have going on and who we have it going on with. So really just kind of talking through what your day looks like, what your week looks like, what your goals are, you know, really just having a lot of conversations with people. And we have to identify our triggers, which means we need to journal a little bit. We need to kind of keep track of our patterns and behaviors and identify some root causes, which we kind of talked about yesterday. And we really got to dig deep into our past because we're just literally repeating the same things over and over and over. And we have to redirect those behaviors when we get them. And then again, we're journaling. We're journaling our mood. We're journaling what we eat. You know, how we felt before we had the food, how we felt when we were eating the food, and then how we felt after we were having the food. Time of day is really important. Maybe you can pinpoint that you actually like stress eat right at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, and it kind of starts your whole week like that. And then if you really think about it, at 3 o'clock you have a stressful meeting with somebody that you don't really get along with every week, and you kind of now just have that habit of like at 2 o'clock you have X. It's interesting what you find when you journal. And we need to